Hello guys and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me, Vulcan. Today I'm playing a 3v3 on Aarhus. Now I think that's how you pronounce the map name, but it's a very enjoyable map. I remember this map from the campaign specifically. It was kind of a rollover in the campaign and it kind of goes the same way here. But either way, looks like we're going to be playing with Val and Rangru today against Archangel, Dimchenko and BG2040. So, was a very interesting game. I used my British Armoured deck, which has got a little bit of an upgrade since the last patch. Basically, they introduced the Challenger 1 Mark II, which is basically an upgraded Challenger 1 with a better gun. There is nothing else different about it, just a better gun. It's got 12 accuracy instead of 10 accuracy, and I think a little bit higher AP power, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so my job is to take the right. And the reason I picked the right was because it's got the most fields, and this will suit my tank warfare the best. So I was going to hold Golf, and then wait until I had an opportunity to push a Charlie. Then what was going to happen on the left was Rangru and Val were going to push through Hotel and up to Echo, also hopefully capturing Foxtrot. And with Foxtrot and Echo, we would win the game, because if you look at the actual map, you can see there's basically an even amount of points to capture. You've got these two, these two, these two, and these two. So if all is well, then, and it goes towards a draw, then basically NATO will hold Juliet and India, and Hotel and Golf, and then Pact will hold Alpha and Bravo, and Delta and Charlie. Then Foxtrot and Echo are generally the contested areas, and that's exactly what happened in this particular match. Now, just so you guys know, there is actually a follow-up game that I played after this that I will be recording. The reason I'm recording this one first is it is a bit shorter, and I didn't have as much time as I would have liked. So look forward to a longer version of seeing my upgraded British deck. Now I'm going to stick it to my point of view so we don't get all the pinging that's going on. Because we are obviously on TeamSpeak, me, Val and Rangru, we're all on TeamSpeak together. So we point out the markers of where we're going, but for the majority of the match we don't need to use markers because we are talking to each other. Whereas the enemy team, well, they did. So I'm not going to keep up all of the enemy forces because of that reason. So let's have a look at my forces. I've got a Challenger 1 Mark II already on the field. I've got 4 FV-32s with Fusiliers in them. I've got an FV-103 Spartan with SAS in them. And I've got an FV-105 Sultan as my command vehicle. I've got a Trax Rapier, which is good against helicopters, and I've got 2 Pinsgowers with green jackets. Then a Tracked Rapier FSA, a Gazelle AH-1, 2 FV-102 Strikers, and another Tracked Rapier for the left, along with these Alpha Stalwarts. Now, I was a bit slow to get these guys moving because it took me a little while to get to grips with playing Wargame again, and this was more sort of like a practice game for the next game because I hadn't played in a while. Anyway, decide to hide my Sultan behind one of these buildings so that it can't be seen. There's not many places that it's safe to hide a command vehicle here, but as long as it's out of line of sight, then it's generally okay. I could have gone and hidden it in this forest, but it's a bit far up if I got attacked from Foxtrot or Charlie, and anywhere in these bushes is too far out on the right and could get sniped by HGMs and so on. So I have already spotted an MI-24 BP, which has caused me to drastically change the position of my troops early on. I was heading some FV-432s to these buildings to hold up here, but instead I pulled them over all the way to the left. And you can see that I did manage to get one of my Pinsgowers up to drop green jackets off into this top building, which revealed a lot of their forces early on. Now in the meantime, I did bring a couple of Harrier GR5s over to the left, as did Rangru with a Nighthawk, to try and stun this push from Dimchenko. He pushes forwards loads of TO-62s with Urals and infantry, which hold Motostrelki. Now fortunately for us, Rangru's on the case with his riflemen, which have very good machine guns. These M60s have an incredible range of 1050 meters. It's the longest range machine gun in the game. Then my Challenger 2 in the meantime has taken a beating from these Mi-24Ds, and I've also spotted some Spadochronidia facing down on the right, which I basically go and decide to bomb. Now I don't know whether I'm successful at this point, but I assumed I was, and you can see there that that was a confirmed kill. But as to relieve my Challenger 1 Mark II of the pressure, I bring over my tracked rapier to shoot down their helicopters. Now one of them gets shot down, and then the other one soon follows. So job well done by my tracked rapier there. It was a bit risky because 2 helicopters against 1 A8. Generally the helicopters will win if they're in range, which they were, but because I managed to take out one at a time, it wasn't too bad. So we've got some artillery coming in, and it looks like they're trying to focus on my tracked rapier. Also, we've got a MiG-21 BIS. That comes in, and unfortunately my tracked rapier FS8 seems to miss all of its missiles at this point. You'll see it will continue to do so. Such a lucky plane. Fortunately, the last missile from this tracked rapier, which has already shot down a couple of helicopters, manages to take it down. I also brought in a Tornado ADV F3, which is a air superiority fighter, to hold the skies there for a second. But they brought in a MiG, which we did fortunately shoot down in the meantime. So now we've got my tracked rapier FSA and my tracked rapier firing at a couple of Yak 38s, which bring in napalm to basically dislodge my infantry from these buildings. I managed to shoot down one, the rest get away because of my lack of AA after the FSA got killed by a seed missile. So I'm moving my infantry out of this area as quickly as possible before they attack me, because the only reason you would ever napalm someone really is basically to dislodge a defense before you attack, and that's often what enemies do. And I saw that they were bringing up a lot of Urals and so on, so there was bound to be a lot of infantry nearby. So over on the left in the meantime, still more TO-62s, which are the flame tanks, coming up to dislodge Rangru's infantry in these buildings. They're still holding out very well, and now he's reinforcing with Val some Royal Marines and some M2A1 Bradleys, which are going to just absolutely annihilate these TO-62s. So now the attack started on the left. I think he was sending forward Urals to test the waters in terms of how far up he could get. But my Challenger here kept sniping them, and you can see he manages to take out a BTR-60 on the right. Now I did send a few FV-432s up towards the enemy. Their PTUR Factorias managed to actually snipe those with HGMs though. Now while this is all going on, I've got some FV-102 Strikers sniping their Urals on the left. Now the reason I let them continue to do so was because I believed that there was infantry in them. If we go to the neutral perspective, you can see there actually isn't, and they're just sponging my HGMs, which is generally quite a good thing to do. However, if there was infantry in that, and I was killing them with HGMs, it would have killed the infantry inside as well. So you can see there's still a very intense fight going on over here, with Dimchenko using Sapuri and Val and his Royal Marines just getting flamed to death, while Rangru's riflemen provide cover from further range. But Rangru's M1A1 Abrams and M2A1 Bradley support, along with a new MBT-70, do come in very handy to stop that push. Meanwhile, I'm just reinforcing the right. After all the napalm came in, it caused my SAS to lose a few men and my Fusiliers too. So I decided to bring up some Alvis Stalwarts to basically resupply them all. I further brought up a couple of tracked rapiers. You can see there is one here, and there is one here, and I've got my old one which is sitting over here. Now my Challenger 1 is sitting on the right side with a Chinook which has repaired it since, and I've got a green jacket squad over here to make sure that this field is scouted. Furthermore, my Gazelle AH1 is also scouting this side, and this is covered by a tracked rapier and the two F102 strikers. Now these two Alvis Stalwarts are out of resupply, so I've decided to send them back to base and bring in a couple of extras. But we're really doing well now on the left thanks to Rangru and Val. His riflemen and light riflemen are doing work on these Mosquée Pehota. And with that, and Dimchenko's push of TO-62s and infantry being thwarted, he actually leaves the game. So now it's just really my job to hold out on the right. We managed to push them successfully up on the left and captured Foxtrot and Echo, giving us a +2 advantage throughout the game, which means we're on 254 points out of 500. But I am being slowly sniped on the right by HGMs against my Challenger. So I decided to try and bring him back. I'm trying to reverse him, but he's derping out a little bit, getting my tracked rapier out of the way so he doesn't get hit by an HGM either. And I'm reversing the Challenger 1 so it can get repaired again. So with Dimchenko surrendering, it's basically Rangru's job to clean up the rest of the units in the area, and then they can push towards Bravo. Thankfully, due to a Val, we managed to get a few infantry squads up there to basically take them out of Bravo, which made us succeed greatly and put us at a +3 advantage. So even more AA coming in now. Because of the show of Air Force early in the game, I know that reinforcing AA will not be a waste of points. But it's time to start to build up my defense for sure, because as you can see, some PT-76 DSADs coming down the right side. Now I'm pretty confident that my Challenger 1 Mark II will be able to snipe as many of these as possible from this point. But just in case, I do decide to bring up an artillery piece that doesn't actually get used too much throughout the game because I kind of forgot about it, noob mistake. But the idea of that was to basically stun some of this as it advanced. Fortunately, because the Challenger 1 Mark II is very accurate, it did basically take one shot, one kills on all these PT-76s. So, accuracy of 12 and AP power of 19 really helps it, and he is very high rank. So we're now up to 70% conquest points, and my Challenger 1 is still taking shots. A plane comes in, Mi-21 BIS comes in to try and take it out. Unfortunately, I do get sniped by two Su-22 M3s, but both of them pay the price with their lives. And I've also brought up some Spartans with HGM Milans now to try and take care of some of these units. Now my Harrier GR5 that I bring in seems to have missed all its bombs, But thankfully, due to these HGM Milans, I do manage to kill the TO-55s, which are basically the main threat out of all of these forces. The PT-76 Descents aren't really an issue, and thanks to Val's Challenger 1 Mark IIs, we clean them up very easily. So now with all this, we've got a Spetsnaz pushing up and killing my Fusiliers in this sector here. I do bring in a Harrier which successfully bombs a couple of the Spetsnaz squads and then engages with my SAS. Now because I have so much AA now, you can see that any air units that come into range are getting shot down. Mi-24 VP comes up on the left, for example, gets shot down. Any air force that they try and use is just getting destroyed, and it's really helping me defend for sure, and it was definitely a good decision to make. Now with my SAS dying, it leaves the Spetsnaz squad on with one man. My lad Javelin actually finishes them off with their L1A1s, which was quite an amazing feat. I still have some TO-62s to deal with from Archangel. My Fusiliers managed to take out one. Enemy brings in a couple more air units which miss and get shot down. Although they did manage to take out one of my tracked Rapier FSAs, but I do replace that as soon as possible. Also, this Su-22 M3 gets itself shot down, crashes very near to my lad Javelins. Doesn't take them out though. And now we're on 479 points out of 500. And as long as I hold on the bright for a little bit longer, we have pretty much won the game.
We're in a combat zone right now.
And with that last plane shot down, and us completely dominating them on the left with the help of Val and Rangru, we win. So, there you go guys. A pretty crazy game, which left us with insane kill to death ratios. The game only lasted 14 minutes, which was something I stated at the beginning. It was a pretty short game, but it was a very nice game which demonstrated the map very well. I like this map a lot, and I will probably play it again. I think it's the first time I've actually played it in multiplayer, thanks to Rangro pointing it out. But yeah, it worked out very well for us, and we managed to overcome their flame tanks in abundance. So, thanks to that, we win the game, and there you have it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode where hopefully it'll be a bit longer. I think the game was about 32 minutes, so look forward to that. It'll be a lovely, long, strategical commentary. Goodbye.